He wanted to be the very best like no one ever was, and it only took him a couple decades to do it. Ash Ketchum's career as a Pokémon trainer has been more shocking than his Pikachu. In anime, it's not unusual for young male protagonists to be voiced by women. This is the case in popular anime like Naruto, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, and of course, Pokémon. In both the Japanese and English versions, Ash is voiced by a few different women. He's played by Rika Matsumoto in the Japanese version, while Veronica Taylor, Sarah Natochenny, and Casey Rogers have voiced him in English dubs.
I'm Ash Ketchum. I came from Pallet Town in the Kanto region. And this is my good buddy Pikachu. Nice to meet you.
In addition to voicing Ash, Taylor and Natochenny have also voiced his mother, Delia, along with other characters in Pokémon. That's an impressive feat, considering how different the two characters sound. The other characters Taylor and Natochenny have voiced, like Ash's traveling companion May and the gym leader Skylar respectively, also sound nothing like him. Rogers voiced Ash in 2006's The Mastermind of Mirage Pokémon special, but has also provided voices for a number of Pokémon with their own distinct cries, like Mr. Mime and Jessie's Wobbuffet. Since the Pokémon anime is based on the Pokémon video game series, it makes sense that Ash has a lot in common with the protagonists from the games. In every generation of the video game series, the player characters receive their starter Pokémon from the professor of their region, battle their rivals, and share the same goal of becoming the Pokémon champion. This is also the case for Ash, who gets his Pikachu from Professor Oak, battles it out with rivals like Gary and Paul, and participates in tournaments with a championship title on the line. Perhaps the most specific similarity between Ash and the video game protagonists is that, with one exception, they don't have a father figure around. Just as Ash always has his mother Delia to come home to, the video game protagonists can always visit their mothers in their hometown. However, it remains a mystery where all of the fathers are. The only exception is in the third-generation games, where the player's father is the Petalburg gym leader, Norman. One of the most memorable parts of the Pokémon anime comes when Ash meets Misty in the very first episode. While being attacked and chased by a flock of Spearow, Ash rushes to get Pikachu and himself to safety, and gets caught on Misty's fishing line. Instead of properly introducing himself, Ash hops onto Misty's bike without permission, and speeds off toward the nearest Pokémon Center.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm borrowing this. Hey, that's my bike! I'll give it back someday!
Spoiler alert, the bike never gets properly returned. Pikachu ends up destroying it while attacking the Spearow flock with a powerful electric move. Unfortunately for bike owners in the Pokémon universe, this is not a one-time thing for Ash and Pikachu. The same thing that happens to Misty also happens to several of Ash's other friends. In the first episode of Pokémon Advanced, Pikachu zaps May's bike along with Team Rocket. Likewise, the second episode of Pokémon Diamond and Pearl sees the destruction of Dawn's bike during a battle with Pikachu. If it has two wheels and pedals, it probably won't last a day with Ash and Pikachu around.
Hey, what happened to your bike? What happened to my bike? You happened to my bike, you little loser!
As someone who dreams of being the very best, Ash must face off against the toughest Pokémon trainers in every region. That might be easy enough to do in the video games with enough experience points, but it's no easy task in the anime. Between gym battles and tournaments, Ash actually loses quite a bit. In fact, Ash loses his very first gym battle. In Episode 5, the young trainer rushes into the Pewter City Gym and challenges Brock to a battle without proper preparation. Brock's Onyx wraps its massive stone body around Pikachu and immediately forces Ash to surrender. Later in Episode 14, Ash and Pikachu suffer a demoralizing loss to Lieutenant Surge and his Raichu that almost convinces the 10-year-old to evolve his companion. The most humiliating defeat, however, comes during the hyped league battle between Ash and his friendly rival, Richie, at the end of the Indigo League arc. Ash puts his faith in his powerful yet disobedient Charizard to defeat Richie's Pikachu, but Charizard lies down and refuses to obey. Because of this, Ash loses the match and is eliminated from the Indigo Plateau Conference entirely. In addition to losing a few gym battles in the Kanto region, Ash also acquires some of his gym badges in ways that don't really seem fair to other trainers. The fact that this happens more than once throughout Ash's Kanto journey makes us question his true talents as a trainer and takes away from his early achievements. After Ash loses to Brock for the first time, he trains up his Pikachu and challenges the Rock-type gym leader to a rematch. This time, Pikachu defeats Brock's Rock and Ground-type Geodude with a single electric attack, which should technically not be possible. since ground types are typically immune to electric attacks. When Onix is on the field, the sprinkler conveniently goes off and weakens Onix to the point where Pikachu's attack is enough to bring it down. Ash ends up showing mercy to the Onix and abandons the match, earning him the Boulder Badge along with Brock's respect. Another unconventional gym victory happens with Ash's rematch against Sabrina and her Kadabra in episode 24. Just like their initial fight, Sabrina seems to be in full control. However, the battle is interrupted by the mischievous Haunter, who shows up after following Ash from Lavender Town. The Haunter goofs around, making Sabrina and her Kadabra laugh until they are deemed unable to battle. By default, Ash is declared the winner and receives the Marsh Badge.
Maybe you should just quit now. Besides, the badges you do have, you got out of pity.
A badge is a badge! Oh!
Since the beginning of his journey, Ash has captured many different Pokémon, some of which turn out to be incredibly strong members of his team with a little bit of training. The best example of this is Ash's first fire type. Caught as a Charmander, it evolves into Charmeleon and then Charizard, and it receives special training at Charisific Valley. To this day, Charizard is still considered one of Ash's strongest Pokémon. Unfortunately, many of Ash's other Pokémon don't get the same amount of attention or training to become that powerful. This is the most evident in the fact that Ash has a lot of Pokémon that aren't fully evolved, including Totodile, Bayleaf, and of course Pikachu. Pikachu has expressed a lack of interest in evolving, but that doesn't mean Ash can't evolve his other Pokémon to make them stronger. While many people who play the video games tend to evolve their Pokémon pretty quickly, Ash doesn't seem to mind keeping his companions in their smaller, less powerful forms. In the Pokémon universe, every species has an extremely rare color variant known as a shiny form. For instance, a shiny Gyarados is mostly red instead of its usual blue color, while a shiny Psyduck is blue instead of yellow. Many shiny Pokémon are noticeably different from their normal forms, but some are pretty difficult to identify. Some particularly bad offenders like shiny Pikachu and shiny Gengar are just slightly different shades of their normal colors. Ash's one shiny Pokémon, Noctowl, falls somewhere between noticeable and subtle. At first glance, Ash's Noctowl can probably fool anyone who isn't familiar with the species, since the shiny variant and normal variant both have brown color schemes. However, when Ash's Noctowl is side by side with the normal Noctowl, the difference is clear. Ash's Noctowl has a much lighter body and copper-toned wings, while the normal Noctowl is darker overall. Since his 10th birthday, Ash has put all of his time and effort into becoming the best Pokémon trainer he can be. He focuses heavily on training and battling, and doesn't usually show much interest in anything that isn't related to Pokémon, including romance. But despite Ash's lack of interest and experience in the love department, a few characters have taken an interest in him. As Ash travels through the Kalos region, he's accompanied by his childhood friend, Serena. It's revealed in episodes 6 and 7 of Pokémon the series XY that the two of them met at camp, where Ash helped and encouraged Serena during a difficult time. Since then, he's held a special place in her heart and has been a source of inspiration for her, although she hasn't exactly had the same effect on him.
Can't say I remember you.
Huh? Oh no!
Serena gives Ash a kiss before parting ways with him in one of the most unexpected moments in Pokémon anime history. In addition to Serena, Ash has won over the heart of one Pokémon in particular. Chikorita might have acted stubborn and tough in the beginning, but the Grass-type Pokémon is ultimately swayed by the boy's kindness. She gives him a kiss on the cheek when he asks if she'd like to join him on his adventure. Once Chikorita evolves into Bayleaf, she develops a habit of tackling her trainer out of love and excitement. The Pokémon anime wouldn't be nearly as exciting without some chaos, but it's not just Team Rocket that's causing trouble. Throughout Ash's many adventures, mischievous Pokémon seem to be naturally attracted to him. Whether these troublemakers are causing problems around town or just messing with their trainers, it's always up to Ash to handle it. There are two notable instances where Ash befriends and captures the leader of a villainous Pokémon group. The first is the infamous Squirtle Squad that initially helps Team Rocket kidnap Pikachu in episode 12. After realizing who the bad guys really are, the squad works with Ash to defeat Team Rocket and puts out a forest fire. The leader joins Ash's team while the rest of the Squirtles become firefighters. A similar group of Sandile appears in episode 3 of Pokémon Black and White, where they act out in an attempt to get everyone away from dangerous geysers. Ash eventually sees their good intentions, and they all work together to get everyone to safety. The leader of the pack follows Ash around in various episodes before officially being caught later on, after evolving into Krokorok. Despite remaining 10 years old throughout the many seasons of the anime, Ash's appearance has definitely undergone some changes. Ash always looks the same throughout the Kanto and Johto eras, but alterations after that mostly come down to new clothes, hats, and an upgraded Pokédex. Those changes in appearance are fairly subtle up until the series Pokémon Sun and Moon. When Ash arrives in the Alola region, more than just his outfit gets a makeover. There's a huge shift in art style, which results in Ash having an overall younger appearance. He even ditches the fingerless gloves previously considered a key part of his outfit. Then, in Pokémon Journeys, Ash gets bigger irises in his eyes to make him look even more youthful. Perhaps the only physical features that always stay the same for Ash are the zigzag markings on his cheeks that look like Pikachu's lightning bolts. After traveling through region after region, Ash finally snags his first championship title in the Manalu Conference of the Alola region. In episodes 46 and 47 of Pokémon the series Sun and Moon Ultra Legends, Ash's final battle against his rival Gladion starts out pretty balanced. Ash's Melmetal is taken down by Gladion's Silvally, who is then knocked out by Pikachu. After that, Pikachu faces down Gladion's Zoroark, and they both use their Z moves to take each other out. This leaves Gladion and Ash with just one Pokémon each. Coincidence or not, they both put their faith in their two Lycanroc. At first, it doesn't look good for Ash's Lycanroc as it struggles to deal with the other Lycanroc's counterattack. But thankfully, Ash comes up with an unconventional strategy to secure the victory.
Now use counter against counter!
No way!
This gives Ash's Lycanroc enough momentum to deal the final blow. While it's exciting to watch Ash's strategy play out, the win isn't as satisfying as it could have been. In the video games, a counter cannot actually be countered itself, making Ash's use of it not feel totally legit. This isn't the only time the anime breaks the rules that the video games have established, and it's a shame that it happens in the all-important battle that crowns Ash as the new champion. While Ash may not have the best track record when it comes to putting together a solid team of 6, his squad in Pokémon Master Journeys is undeniably powerful, featuring Pikachu, Lucario, Gengar, Dragonite, Dracovish, and Sirfetch'd. Surprisingly, all these Pokémon are in their final evolutions with the exception of Pikachu. In this case, it works out for Pikachu, as the Electric Mouse has a special Gigantamax form that Raichu doesn't. Aside from Pikachu, Ash has two of the strongest Pokémon from Kanto in his corner, Gengar and Dragonite. Gengar is a speedy glass cannon and another potential Gigantamax option, while Dragonite is a bulky and reliable flying dragon. Ash also has a great Mega Evolution in Lucario. This Lucario has shown the most growth on the team by starting out as an egg in Ash's care, training hard as a little Riolu, and evolving into a total powerhouse. The Gala duo, Dracovish and Sirfetch'd, should not be underestimated either, despite their somewhat silly designs.